4 years ago today, I remember very, very vividly, I was living minute to minute. It was literally minute to minute. I had gone into another relapse. I had another relapse of cancer, and I remember they'd given me all the treatments that they had previously given me, and nothing was working. And then they put this cocktail of chemotherapy on me. It was about 10 different chemos all at once. I remember the bags, and some of them were like lined with foil because they were so toxic that, you know, the nurses and stuff couldn't be near them. They had to be protected from them. And I just remember literally on my hands and knees just throwing up all over the floor in my hospital room because I couldn't make it to the toilet. And I remember my friend Mike picking me up and telling me to, you know, just encouraging me. I remember very, very vividly, you know, it was minute to minute. Nothing was working. Finally, I was able to get into this clinical study to get this bone marrow transplant. And throughout that process, you have this experience where you live minute to minute. And then eventually it's hour to hour, you know, like you're no longer worried about, you know, what is the next minute going to bring? You think about the next hour. And then once you start to get comfortable with the next hour, you start to think about, well, what's the next day going to bring? And I remember forever, for years since then, I've been living day to day, you know, week to week, even month to month was really exciting for me when I was able to plan things and not worry about whether I was going to be in the hospital or whether I was going to get chemo or whether I was going to roll over and die. And I say that lightly now because I'm not going to roll over and die. But, you know, at the time, that's what you're thinking. And I remember that my goal was to get to living year to year. And most recently, I was at the doctor's, and I asked that question. I said, listen, you know, can I start living year to year now? I want to start planning things in my life. And they said, yes. I don't see any reason why you can't live year to year. They were very encouraged by all my test results and things. That they can't find any of the disease in my bone marrow. They can't find it in my blood. No active disease anyway. But there's still a spike of a particular protein called the M protein. It's called an M spike. And because that spike is still there, I'm not considered complete remission. But that's okay. You know, I actually think about it, and I've said it before. I think it keeps me on my toes, having this little protein there. You know, makes me not get too comfortable. But at the same time, I want to be comfortable enough to live year to year. And one of the things that I was thinking of as I was getting to do this video was how long it's been since I've spoken to you guys on video, and how to apologize for that. And I was visiting my aunt Annie out in California. It was actually a couple years ago. And I was apologizing to her. I said, I'm so sorry, Annie, I haven't emailed you in the past couple months, and I know that, you know, you were really interested in how I was doing. And she said, don't worry, Jason, when I don't hear from you, it means you're out living your life. And that's enough of a message to me. And I just, that was such a thoughtful thing to say, but it was also so true, you know. When you're so sick and you're concentrating on how sick you are all the time, you know, you're always talking about, I don't feel well, or this or that. You're taking medications all the time, or you're getting treatment. But when you're feeling well and you're not getting as many treatments, and you don't have to go to the doctor as much, you start to forget about being sick. And then, you know, eventually you're not sick. I mean, I don't consider myself sick. And so once you haven't, you know, obsessed about it so much, it starts to get easier to live, you know, week to week, month to month, year to year. And that's exactly where I am. I'm at this place where I'm living year to year. I was just in Europe over the summer, living my life, you know. My girlfriend and I did 7 countries in just under a month. And I have been, you know, going around visiting my family out in California, and was out in Indiana. Went to Miami for New Year's to see a concert, see the Fish concerts. And the point is, I'm out enjoying my life. I'm thinking year to year, and it's a really great place to be, you know. And I wanted to share that with everyone, but also share some of the things that I'm working on, you know. In addition to doing these videos, which I really want to do, I'm going to be writing a lot more. I'm going to be working on this company that you guys have probably followed for the past few years. You know, it's this skincare, hair care company that is going to help cancer patients who are going through chemotherapy. There are a lot of really cool things on the horizon, and I just wanted to break the ice again. No pun intended, you know, with all the snow behind me. But I'm glad to be back. I want to keep doing these videos. I hope that you guys are, you know, interested again. And there are a lot of good things ahead. So I hope you guys stick with me.